This book sounds interesting, but is it any good? Do I really want to spend $18 on a book that I'm not sure if it's good or not, only to have to unhaul it 3 months later? What do I do? Everybody sure just keep picking the same books, but how do I know if it's any good? Well, hello, I'm Dawn, your teen librarian, and I'm here to tell you how to pick a good book every time. Either it's a bookstore, the library, go to your library, or online. I'm going to show you what to look for while you're there, not doing any research before, none of that nonsense. While you're there, how you can pick a guaranteed good book. You know, good is subjective, so let's keep that in mind, but you know what I'm trying to say. Let's get started. First, we have to define what is a good book. And I put good in quotes because good is subjective. What you think is good, I might not, and vice versa. But there are people whose jobs it is, to tell you what is a critical book. I'm going to use the word critical in place of the word good because critical has criteria. There's a list of things that people look at when they are trying to determine if a book is critical. And then if a book is critical, it is considered to be good. There's a difference between a critical book and the Goodreads Book Choice Awards, which tend to be a popularity contest. I'm not saying that in none of those books are critical books, because some of them are. Some of the really good critical books do make that list, but for the most part, it's mostly a popularity contest. And just because a book is popular doesn't necessarily mean it's good, and you probably already know that. If you're a reader, you have been on Goodreads and you're like, oh, Goodreads says this is a 4.5, therefore it must be good. And then you read it and you're like, I just finished one of those this week. Yeah. There are certain things that professional reviewers and selectors look at when they are determining if a book is critical or not. And here are some of those things. Now, before I start, these are my opinion. If you have been a selector or if you're a professional reviewer, you might look at different criteria, and that's fine. But for me as a reviewer who wrote for a professional review journal and who has sat on a selector committee, this is what we were taught to look for. So yours might be different, that's great, but here's mine. One of them is theme. If a book only has one theme and it's like right in your face, found family, that's probably not a great book. A really good critical book is going to have multiple themes. So think of something like The Hunger Games. The Hunger Games has good versus evil, power, oppression, friendship, and many, many more themes. That's one of the reasons why Hunger Games is considered a critical book. Another thing that professionals look for is character. Characters should be archetypes and not stereotypes. If you're reading a book where you're saying to yourself, ugh, I have read this character so many times, that character is probably a stereotype. A stereotype means the character is just a generalization of a person that you've read a bunch of times. They're adding nothing new to their character. An archetype there's a whole definition of archetype, but basically characters kind of have the same characteristics, if you will. They're recycled over and over and over again. But an archetype character means that they've done something a little bit different with the character. Think of Katniss. Her archetype is hero or heroine. We've seen that character in a bajillion books. However, Katniss has a little bit of a different slant to her. She's not exactly likable. She is basically the matriarch of her family because her mom is depressed. She has to take care of her sister. She has to provide their food. She has to provide comfort. She has to provide love. She's become the mother. Like, Katniss has other things going on to her character and not just the hero. She is other things. Piggybacking on character is voice. Voice means, what does this character have to say about life, about love, about being a woman or a girl or a boy or a man, about anything, essentially. If you're reading a book and you're saying to yourself, ugh, this character isn't saying anything new, I have heard this a million times, it's probably not a good book. But if you're reading a book and you're saying to yourself, wow, this character is so insightful. I never thought about life that way. I never thought about mortality that way. I never thought about friendship that way. That's a good voice. It's different. It's nuanced, which makes the book a little bit more critical. Another thing that professional reviewers and selectors look for is style. Style means, how is the book written? This is tricky because when I was a selector, one thing that I really looked for is the way the plot is told. If the plot was told non-linearly, then chances are it was considered to be a little bit more critical than a book that was told from start to finish. There's nothing wrong with the book that's being told from start to finish. That doesn't mean it's bad, doesn't mean it's not critical. It's just that if you get a book that is told out of order, or starts at the end and then comes full circle, or if it jumps to past and present, those books tend to be a little bit more critical, and selectors kind of pay more attention to books like that. So just keep that in mind. So if you get a book, for example, Addie LaRue. Addie LaRue is told all over the place. She's in March 2020. Now she's in 1480. That is a little bit more stylized as opposed to a book that is just told from start to finish. Another thing under the style umbrella is, how is the book written? How is the author telling the story? Is it more of a symbolic writing style, a more of a metaphorical writing style? Think of someone like Maggie Stiefvater. She tends to write a little bit more symbolic. If you take the Raven Boys, for example, the boys have called themselves Raven Boys, but the raven, the bird, is also a huge symbol in her book. Also, authors like E. Lockhart tend to write very clipped, very short sentences. That is a style that she has chosen to write her stories in. And it can also be seen as poetic. So that's why her books tend to skew more critical. Let's use We Were Liars, for example. There are some people who love it, and then there are some people who are like, I don't get it. I don't understand why this book is so great. Here's why. We Were Liars is told in a different style. It starts at the end where she's already has her migraines, and she has to figure out what has happened, and it kind of goes back and forth through what happened in the summer and current day. That's style. Also, the way E. Lockhart writes, as I already said, has a very clipped, short writing style. She is sunshine. She is beautiful. She is rainbow. That type of writing style can be considered poetic because sometimes that's how poetry is written. That is a style. And that is different from a lot of other authors' writing style. Character. Katie has a unique voice because she has experienced something traumatic and she's trying to figure it out. And she has a lot to say about herself and her family. She has a unique voice. And theme. We Were Liars has a lot of themes. And they do include family, toxicity, love, racism, privilege, power, patriarchy, tons of themes in that book. That is why We Were Liars is a good book or a critical book. All right, so now that you know what is considered critical according to me, now I'm going to show you how to find a book when you're actually at the bookstore or at the library or looking on Amazon or online shopping. All right, let's get started. I am a teen librarian in Illinois, and I've been a teen librarian for about 12 years. I'm also a member of ALA. ALA is the American Library Association, and it's basically our governing body on how American libraries are run. ALA has several sub-organizations, and those organizations give out book awards every year. And those major awards are the Prince Award, and that award is given to the best teen book of the year. The Morris Award is given to the best teen debut author of the year. The Alex Award is given to a adult book that has teen appeal. There are awards that are given to LGBTQ plus book called the Stonewall Awards. There is the, I'm going to butcher this, I'm sorry, Pura Belpre, that is given to a Latino or a Latino author that has a book about Latino culture. And the Coretta Scott King Award, which is given to an African American author who is writing about African American culture. And the creme de la creme is the Newbery Award. And the Newbery Award is given to the middle school book of the year. And there's a reason why I'm talking about that. I am a teen librarian, but I'm going to talk about the Newbery Award because sometimes, you know, in library world, YA is 12 years to 18 years or 12 to 17 years old. And sometimes middle grade, there's an overlap there between 12-year-olds. So that's why I'm talking about Newbery. Now, the Newbery Award, as I said, is the creme de la creme. Every year, ALA has an award ceremony. It's held at 7 a.m. at conference, and they give out the awards. And the last award of the day, I should say that night, is the Newbery Award, and that's the one everyone's waiting for, and it gets the biggest claps, and you have to be elected to be on the committee. Like, it's a big deal. So to win a Newbery Award is a big freaking deal. There's a reason why I'm telling you about that. All of these awards that I just mentioned have stickers, and librarians and booksellers put these stickers on the book to let you know that this book is good, and the more stickers, the better the book. Here's some examples. So look at this. Sticker, sticker, sticker. Sticker, 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 sticker. So if you are at the bookstore and you see a book with all these stickers on it, that means it's good. That means it's critical. It's won a lot of awards. There's a high possibility that you're going to get an enjoyable read. But what do these stickers mean? This first sticker has a P on it. That is the Prince Award. That means Best Teen Book of the Year. This one is the Pura del Pre, which is the Latina author, Best Latin Culture Book. That's what this is. And this book is the National Book Award, and I'll get to this in a second. But these two are one of the ones that I listed, one of the ones that I talked about already. So this book has received awards for two of those, like 6 or 7 awards that I already mentioned. Let's look at this one. This one has the Prince as well, but it also has the Coretta Scott King, which is an African American author writing about African American culture. And this has a Newbery Award sticker, which is, remember, Newbery is Best Middle Grade Book of the Year. This is kind of a crossover. And then this one is a new award. This is the Walter Dean Myers Award. I believe this was started by the We Need Diverse Books organization. They started giving out awards for diverse books. I think that's what that means. So the more stickers you see, once again, the better. However, if you've noticed, some of the stickers are gold and some of them are silver. What's that about? Well, just like the Olympics, gold is better than silver, but silver doesn't mean second place. Silver means honor. So all those committees that I listed, they choose one winner, but they also have books that were close, but not quite good enough to be winner. And those are runner-ups or honor books, but they still get a sticker. So the silver one means that Jason Reynolds didn't win that year. This book didn't win that year. It got a lot of honors. So it was an honor book for the Coretta Scott King Award, an honor book for the Prince Award, and an honor book for the Newbery. It didn't win the Newbery, but it was an honor book, which is close. But this is gold, which means it probably won. Whereas the Poet X has all gold, which means that she won all of these awards. All right, so that's the first thing you want to look for is stickers. Hopefully the booksellers have stickers on the book. Sometimes it gets a little cluttered and you're like, ew, I don't want those stickers on my book. And I understand that. I totes understand that. However, the stickers are an indicator, and they may not be at the bookstore, but they will probably be at the library. You'll probably see them at the library because librarians like to put stickers on their books, and you're not keeping them books. You know, you're just there to read it and take it back. You don't care what the cover looks like. Let's get back to this sticker, the National Book Award. So the National Book Award is even better than the Newbery Award. The National Book Award isn't just limited to ALA. It is like a national award given out every year. And it's given out to adult books, poetry, I believe, nonfiction, and children's. And children's, teen falls under the children's category. The awards, anybody can nominate books for the awards, and then they narrow the books down to a long list and then a short list, and then they choose a winner and they choose honor books. So it is a really, really big deal. And the committee of the National Book Award, or the NBA, you might see the word NBA, the committee of the National Book Award is comprised of authors, like published authors. Whereas the other awards that I was talking about, they are comprised of librarians or library workers. So the Poet-X has a gold sticker, which means it won that year for children's. That is a huge deal. And then we have something like the Bone Gap, which has a silver sticker, which meant it was an honor book. Still a huge deal, huge. And it has a prince, which means it won the Prince that year. All right. And then you have something like There Will Come a Darkness that has the Morris sticker, which is debut author. Now, disclaimer, I am a teen librarian, therefore I am well versed in young adult land. So all of the books that I'm going to be mentioning, with the exception of one, are YA books. They're teen books. They're not adult books, because I'm not really in the adult library book publishing world. I don't know that much about adult books and publishing and awards and all that stuff, but I know a lot about teen. So I'm going to be showing you a lot of teen books. I'm going to be talking mostly about YA stuff. Just FYI. So now let's say you're at the bookstore, you're at the library, but you don't really see any stickers. What are you supposed to do now? Here's what you can do. You're going to look for stars, or something that says star review, a star. And this type of stuff is usually on the inside of the book, like this. See, star review. Now this is an adult book. Yes, I know that. However, it won the Alex Award. And the Alex Award, once again, is Best Adult Book with Teen Appeal. So it won an award. It just doesn't have a sticker on it, but it's on the back. Award winner. This book also has like NPR Best Books, an indie next pick. Now, I don't know what those are, because once again, I'm mostly in the teen world, and in the library world, this don't mean too much. Maybe in publishing world, that's a big deal. In library land, that don't mean anything to us. But this is what does means to us. What? This is what does mean something to us. So what is a star review, and why should you care? Well, there are several journals, tons actually, of journals whose whole purpose is to review books. Sometimes they pay people to review the books, or sometimes they do it for free. However, all of them review books that librarians look at, booksellers look at, publishers look at, and the author looks at these reviews. It's like a person who works on Broadway. It's like a Broadway actor or actress or something, and they open up the magazine or the newspaper to be like, what are people saying about my performance? It's the same thing. Your goal, if you are a publisher or an author, is to get a star, because a star means it is the best book. It is a great book. You want a star. I used to write for a school library journal, and the process was I had an editor. She would send me a book. I didn't know what the book was going to be, but she sent it to me. I would read it, and I would hand in my review. If I thought the book was amazing, I would give it a star. I was there for probably about 2.5 years, and I only starred one book, and I'm going to get to that book in a second. But I only starred one book because we're not just throwing out stars like candy, man. No, it only goes to the best of the best. And so star reviews are very, very important to publishers and authors because it means that it is a good book. So if you're at the bookstore and you're like, burr, 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 there's no stickers on that book. How am I supposed to know if it's a good book? This girl on the internet told me to go to the store and look at the book, but there ain't no stickers on this book. There's another way. Let's look at this example of a good book that has a lot of stars in it. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. So what you're going to do is you're going to turn to the first couple pages. That's usually where it is. And it usually says praise for the book. And there's usually some authors who give their praise. I don't really pay too much attention to author praise because I don't care. They'll say anything. It's their friend. They're just going to be like, I'm fucking great. Whatever. What I'm looking at is the star review. Now, as I said before, there are tons of literary magazines that give star reviews. But for me as a teen librarian, I only pay attention to 6. And those 6 are, in no particular order, Kirkus, School Library Journal, Book List, Publishers Weekly, Bulletin, and Horn. That's 6. So that's what I'm looking for. Now, what I'm looking for, So what I'm looking for is where it says star review, Kirkus, star review, Publishers Weekly, star review. Sometimes you'll see Kirkus or Publishers Weekly and it'll have a blurb, but if it doesn't say star review, then it means that the author or the publisher just took a blurb from that magazine and they may have just like found one sentence that gave it a favorable review and used that. But you want to look for where it says star review. That's where you want to look. Turn the page. So we have our ALA book list, SLJ, star. I don't know what Voya is. I do know what Voya is, but I don't care about Voya. Horn book, star. And then there's some other ones. I don't know what BCCB is. Shelf awareness gives a star. Shelf awareness is trying to come up a little bit. We'll give them a little bit of props. Star review. So if you remember, I listed 6 journals that give star reviews that I pay attention to and a lot of school librarians pay attention to, or teen librarians. And The Hate You Give received all 6 of those stars. Now, The Hate You Give does not have the stickers on the book. And it's not listed, which I'm shocked. And it might just be because I have an older edition. But The Hate You Give was like a Prince honor, NBA honor, like Prescott King honor. Like this book probably has so many freaking stickers, you wouldn't even see the cover. So that's one thing you want to look for when you're looking at the inside of a book. Star reviews. The more stars, the better. Here's the second thing you want to look for. So I'm actually going to be talking about this book, but I'm going to be showing you it in this book because this is a newer edition and it doesn't have all the accolades. This is a newer edition and it doesn't have all of the praise. It doesn't have the praise page in it. It has it in this book because this is book 2. So it's the same series. I mentioned all of those journals. There are a couple of journals that give Best Book of the Year award. And one of those is, one of the bigger ones is Kirkus. Kirkus gives an award for best teen, adult, children. No, it's children's is all in the same category with teen. But they do give awards for Best Book of the Year. And they also have honor awards. Now, this award is a big deal. It's a huge deal to get this. There are other journals that do it as well, but I think Kirkus is probably one of the most coveted ones. And so you want to look for that. So this book has it. So remember, we're talking about the reader. So look at this page. Acclaim for the reader. All of this, all of this, all of this. And what you're looking for is Kirkus reviews. Best book of the year. Now this wasn't the best book of the year, but it was an honor book. It was one of the runner-ups. And another thing is that fantasy often does not make best book lists. Fantasy gets the shaft all the time, an adult and teen. Usually awards go to contemporary or science fiction sometimes, but hardly ever fantasy. So if you're seeing a fantasy that has all this praise, it is a good book. Get it. Okay? Get it. All right. So the reader also has star reviews. Look for this page. The reader has tons of starred reviews. SLJ, Kirkus, Publishers Weekly, Book List. And there's one more thing I want to show you. Where is it? Now this book also has star reviews, and one of them is from SLJ. And it says, rich with twists and turns that will leave readers in constant shock while reminding them that there are no coincidences in this narrative. That was me. I wrote that. I'm famous. Oh, it's right here. It's right here. I'm so proud of myself. My name isn't on it, but it doesn't matter. I know I wrote it. Those are the things you want to look for when you go to a bookstore if you're trying to find a good book. Look for the cover and look for that page. This is also a good book. If it has 2 pages of praise, look at this. The first page. Praise for the sun is also a star. Second page of praise. Praise. And yes, I got my book signed. Praise. Praise. If you go to a book and you open up the first page and there is no praise page, it probably sucks. I'm kidding. It probably doesn't. But it's not a guarantee. This is a guarantee. This movie was shit. If you saw the movie and was just like, ew, I'm not gonna read the book. No, read the book. The book is way better. The movie focused on the romance, and while the romance was good, it was not the focus of the book. So, I hope I've helped you to determine how to find a good book when you're at the bookstore or at the library or shopping online, because I am a librarian and ultimately my job is to find a good book for you. If you decide to use my little tips and tricks and it worked for you, please let me know. I would love to know if it helped you. All right, until next time.